So hello everyone again, this is Rich Graves. I'm on the product management team for Cloud Service Management here at CA. I also have my colleague Prasanna who's on the line as well. We'll be covering essentially what we call like an early release validation. Essentially we've completed a few sprints internally at CA, and we like to share what we've completed, what we're working on, so you have a good sense of what's coming in the Elephant release. Again, just as a last reminder, please use the WebEx Q&A feature to ask a question at any point. We'll pause about 2 or 3 times to ask for audio questions if anyone wants to ask an audio question. But certainly at any point when you have a question, feel free to ask it on the Q&A, and myself or Prasanna will address that. Okay. Additionally, we have to put this disclaimer. We are talking about roadmap features as well as things that are coming in the future. Certainly those things can change. These are not commitments, but more targets, just so everyone's aware. A couple updates. I just wanted to update everyone on a few updates we had internally at CA. I think first, the community. We've seen a great uptick in activity on the community, lots of new questions, lots of people submitting ideas and voting ideas. So the activity actually, it was interesting I watched the volume as things change on the activity, and right after the Bamboo release, June, July, even early August, we saw a lot of activity in the community, sort of hit our peak there. Things sort of trended down, and then January, February, March, we've seen a great uptick again, I think, with the Dragonfly release and some of the new features there and questions and things that are coming up from customers. So I did want to make sure everyone's aware of the community. I think most everybody on this call is, because that's where we post these announcements first about these webcasts. Additionally, we did post a new video a few weeks back now on the organization-based templates. So that is a video on how to configure that new feature that came with Dragonfly, essentially how to customize, a custom header and footer on email notifications that go out based on the end user's organization. Very helpful feature, very good video. We have another video that's about to come out. We've gone through some of the final edits, and it should be published very soon, related to SSO. So the new ability in the latest release to do multiple SSO configurations and tailor those by organization as well. So that is a new video as well. There was one question that just came in. Prasanna, can you answer the question about posting the bridge number for audio? Can you answer that? I think some people may have, there's always usually issues with the international bridge, people not being able to find that. So Prasanna, if you could just answer that real quick, I'll keep moving.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thanks, Prasanna. So quick updates, that's really on the community. Also, just make sure everyone's aware, we do put maintenance notifications on the community. There's a couple other things we'll talk about on maintenance. But really, ideas, discussions, education videos, everything we cover on these webcasts, all posted there. So that's definitely your first place to look when you're needing some information on CSM. The next key resource, and I know probably everyone's aware of this, is the wiki site. So the wiki site, you can do wiki.ca.com/cloudsm. That will always take you to the latest version of the wiki, so whatever the latest product version we have, which is, of course, Dragonfly. You can also use docops.ca.com. I always think wiki is easier to remember, so I use that one. So we are constantly updating this wiki. Whenever I get a question from customers about how do you configure this, and I always first go to the documentation. And if the question's answered there, great. I forward the documentation link and add any additional thoughts I have. If the question's not answered there, I always either comment on those wiki pages and say, hey, we need to add this context, or what about this situation? And additionally, I notify, since I'm internal, I notify the CA documentation team to make sure they update those articles. So I would encourage you, if you find something missing from an article, if you think the article is great, if you think it can be improved, or you're adding a different scenario, please comment directly on those wiki pages. Our team that manages the wiki site immediately gets notified on those, and will do their best to respond to those in a timely manner. It certainly benefits everyone that's a CSM customer to keep that up to date and make sure the content is great. So we're constantly improving the wiki there. Next thing is I'll mention the notification system. So hopefully everybody in this call receives email notifications when we're doing planned maintenance, or even if there's outage or unintended outage there. So you should get an email that looks similar to this. This is the most recent one. If you're not receiving these emails or someone in your team is not receiving these emails, please reach out to your customer success manager. If you don't know who that person is, you can certainly reach out to me, and I'll facilitate that as well, and I'll make sure to show my email address again. But essentially, these notifications go out, are part of our SaaS notification system for all the different CA SaaS products. But these notifications go out, and we want to make sure that these are done in a timely manner and that everyone administrators of the system are getting these notifications. So there's 3 places we do maintenance notifications. One is on the community. Number 2 is a banner inside the product itself you'll see when each time you log in when we have planned maintenance schedule. And then third is these maintenance notifications. And additionally, with these notifications, this is what we call our emergency notification system. So these also deal with outages or problems with the service, so that's important to note. So again, make sure you're getting these. If you have no idea what this is or you haven't seen this style of notification before, please do reach out to your customer success manager, and they can help you get on this list to make sure that you're receiving these in the future. Additionally, we do have, so this is actually a screenshot of the upcoming maintenance. We're doing maintenance to the MySQL database, upgrading that database to the latest version, making sure we have all the right security and patches and enhancements for MySQL. The MySQL component is only used for Automation Center and the point of presence server. So if you're not familiar with those components, we're fairly new, I guess, in terms of CSM lifecycle or history. So those components deal with workflow automation and connecting to external products from CSM. So automations, if you're not using those components at all, the rest of CSM is not impacted during this maintenance. If you are using those components, you'll see the details in the service availability about this, this maintenance and the outage or downtime that will be affected. Additionally, for our European customers who are out of the European data center, we are doing infrastructure maintenance. The infrastructure needs to have some updates there as well, so we're doing that maintenance at the same time. So for the EMEA data center for our European-based customers, there is a complete outage of CSM application. So make sure you check the notifications, the wiki, this email, and make sure you're aware of these dates going forward on this particular maintenance. Okay. The next thing I'll mention, because I saw a few comments recently by people sort of surprised by this, these availability sites that are out there. So these are things we've published probably around about a year now. These have been out. Essentially, I have the links to these on the community in the sort of the featured section. These are status and availability pages. So if you think you're seeing an issue with performance or it's taking a long time to log in or you can't log in at all, the first place to go is these 2 availability sites. So there's 3 total. I'm just showing screenshots of 2. There's 1 site for each of our data centers for North America, for Europe, and for Australia as well. So you can see from these screenshots, it'll show you the availability on this particular time, on date. So if there are performance issues, it will be noted here. You can see at the bottom there's a little yellow icon there that'll show performance issues. If there is a service disruption or an outage, it'll show that as well. Again, these links are available on the community site into the featured articles or featured documents. So these are good ones to bookmark and be aware of. So just to give a quick check, and it does check the monitoring and these performance from various countries and various locations as well. So if you're based in Brazil, you can see there, it'll give you performance indication from Brazil as well. Okay. Okay, a couple questions just reviewing quickly. Next on to our release cadence. I know this is a slide I use on every one of our webcasts. Just to sort of reiterate what's coming, the time frame, so you're well aware of this. We are on a quarterly release cadence, with the middle month of the quarter being the month that we target the rollout that usually works best from a change management perspective. And we try to do rollout of staging approximately 10 business days before the production rollout, because we want you to be able to do some testing and validation. If there are any defects or bugs, that you have a chance to hopefully catch those in staging and report those, and we can fix and address those before production. I think Dragonfly is a good example. We had 2 or 3 customers run into the same defect very early on in the testing. We were able to roll that out, patch staging and patch production production with the production rollout, so there's no impact to production on those particular defects. Release names, again, are lucky symbols in alphabetical order. Elephant is the next release coming in May that we're talking about today, followed by Firefly in August, and then Goldfish will close out this calendar year in November as well. So that gives you a good perspective of what's coming and the quarterly release cycle there. So specific to Elephant, so this release focuses on 3 main areas. Number 1, performance improvements. Number 2, analyst productivity enhancements. And number 3, administrator improvements. So on performance, we're spending the bulk of our time and resources on performance improvements. I think we have heard from customers, especially in North America, that performance has gotten worse over the last few months. We really have seen almost a doubling of usage in the North America system with new customers, with customers expanding their usage. And so we estimated that would come much further down the road, and because of that, we're working on this right now, and that is the number 1 focus of this release is on performance improvements, which definitely reduces the number of actual features that we'll be working on, but I think performance is always the most important aspect of usability and functionality of the system. So that is our number 1 focus for this release. On analyst productivity enhancements, we'll talk more about these, but it's really improving the analyst experience and rolling out the new global search that's currently in beta to all of our customers. And on administrative improvements, these are a lot of smaller items that are on the community that will enhance the administrator's ability to manage the system as well as integrate with other systems as well. So to talk through these in specifics, the first area, performance improvement. So what we're doing around performance is, number 1, optimizing the database performance, so looking at what we can do on the database side to better distribute our transactions, to better match the load across our different database environments, and give a better experience to customers on that, to have those those transactions happening faster on the system than they are today. Additionally, enabling the dedicated search engine. So today, the search is done against the database. It's not optimized really for search. So we are rolling out this Elasticsearch engine. Elasticsearch is in beta. There's about 6 customers testing it today. We know the performance is much, much better, and we're enhancing and finding a few issues that we need to resolve as well. So rolling that out to all customers will take some relief off the database, as well as give a much, much better search experience on the global search as well. We're also continuing analyzing long-run queries. With each release, we look at different queries that aren't performing well based on load and volume and large and small customers using it, analyzing those and correcting those and optimizing those as well. Lastly, the advanced reporting component, and I'll talk about this in more specifics in just a minute, but the advanced reporting component, we use Jaspersoft, if you're not familiar with that, but Jaspersoft, we are upgrading to their latest version, which does have some performance enhancements that will also improve the experience for users on advanced reporting. Okay. So first on Elasticsearch. So again, Elasticsearch will replace the current experience for the global search. The global search today is using a database search, which is okay, but I know we can do better. The Elasticsearch is a dedicated, very high-end search engine that not only will give users better results, being able to find what you're looking for from a search perspective in global search much better, but the performance is dramatically better. And today in beta, we're indexing the ticket object, users, organizations, and we'll focus on indexing those and hopefully a few other objects for the Elephant release. In beta today, it's just it has search, and you have some advanced search offerings like using ands and ors and some wildcard characters. We'll also add a date filter to be able to find, a specific ticket during a date range, as well as to filter on a specific organization. There's a couple ideas on the community related to being able to show me all tickets for a specific organization. So we'll have some nice filters there to be able to do that, as well as searching for or filtering by a user or an owner of a ticket. So you can look for the assignee or the requester when you're searching for a specific ticket and filter on all these other attributes, which should be able to help you find data a lot easier than global search today. And again, with much better results as well as performance. Okay. Next, on to advanced reporting. So again, we're using JasperSoft as the embedded component that we use for advanced reporting today. The current version that's with Dragonfly is version 5.6. We are upgrading to the latest release from JasperSoft, which is 6.2. That comes with a wealth of improvements. First being addressing some customer defects. I think we have about 10 to 12 different issues reported from CSM customers that are fixed and rolled out in this 6.2 release, so that's number one. Additionally, there is this new dashboard designer that gives you a lot more flexibility in building dashboards. I personally haven't had a chance to play with it very much. The look and feel you can see here is a little bit different. I think generally it's more of a flattened UI than current JasperSoft. You can still, the navigation structure, the way building reports is still the same, but the dashboard designer itself has been enhanced to have some new features. So both the ad hoc view designer is improved and the dashboard designer is improved as well. So I think that'll be a nice improvement, and also the performance improvements should help all customers that are using advanced reporting. Okay. Next, and this is an important enhancement. I just want to make sure everyone, this was planned for Elephant. We were able to roll it out sooner. So this is actually available today in all of your environments. We rolled it out on Monday. There was no outage or impact. But essentially, these are new custom templates for reports. So the key challenge we had, and we heard from several customers, was when you run and schedule a report and email it to someone, it does not have the date that the report was run. So if the user doesn't know the context of when this report is normally run, or maybe it's not named, 7-day report run on Monday or something, then especially over time, you lose the context on this report. If you're looking at a report a couple weeks later and you don't know if it was run on March 1st or March 15th, you're losing a lot of that context there. So these new templates, which are essentially custom templates that we rolled out on Monday, there's 5 different templates with a variety of page sizes and styles depending on what you want to do with this report. And each template adds a date to the bottom of the report page on every page of that report. So if you take the example of if I'm running a Monday change report with the currently waiting to be approved changes or something like that, and I email that report out, it shows the exact date and time that report was run. So it gives the user viewing that report, especially if it's coming in over an email and a PDF, it gives them much more context of saying, oh, this report was generated on March 21st at 9 a.m. And when they're reviewing that, they have a lot more context, and that's much more useful from a historical perspective as well as for auditing. So to select these templates, when you're going to save an ad hoc view and create a report, you can see in the screenshot, there's a radio button there, custom report template. So if you click that radio button and hit browse, you're going to see these custom templates that come up. All the custom templates that have the term, with date at the end are going to put that date time stamp on the bottom of each page for when you actually run the report. So that is, again, available today with Dragonfly. We were able to roll this out earlier, and I think this will add a lot of value to those users who are using advanced reporting. Okay, let me just check and see if there's any questions with this. So there was another question, have you added organization icons or JPEGs to reports? No, not at this point. That is something I know is on the idea list for community, but reports today are not organization specific, and therefore there's no ability right now to automatically add an icon to that. It's a good question, though. Okay. The next feature coming in Elephant is direct URLs to key objects. So there's an idea in the community. I know it's in the top 10. It might be 8 or 9. I can't remember last time I checked. But it's called like human readable URLs. So I think one difficulty that many organizations have is the way we build the URLs. There's a lot of different stuff in there, and you can't really generate your own URL, knowing a pattern essentially. So we did enhance the application. So when Elephant comes out, so you can see these sample URLs that you can have direct URLs to tickets, to configuration items, to knowledge base articles, and to service catalog items. And these are really built for integration, being able to integrate CSM with other applications in your environment. What if you want to embed a service catalog item on an intranet web page, the customer can then click that and come directly to that service catalog item rather than having to go to the catalog and navigate and find that specific item if you're maybe walking them through the process of requesting, say, I don't know, a new phone or something like that. So this is really helpful, I think, in building notifications, building integrations with other systems, is to be able to have these much simpler URLs that you can create just by knowing the base data center. So SM1 obviously is the North American Production Data Center. So you may have a different URL and then have these indicators in this. So you really just need to know the ID of the object or the ticket number of the object and be able to build that URL. If you're using single sign-on and the user is actually already authenticated, then they'll go directly to the object, or if they already have CSM open in another browser and they're authenticated and they click on this URL, they'll again go directly to the object. If they are not logged in and authenticated, they will be prompted, they will authenticate, and then go directly to the object from there. So I think it's a very helpful feature, and I know one has been it's been on the community for a while and in the top 10 as well. Okay. Additionally, lots of other smaller features that are on the community that have been raised. Some of these have been raised as defects, but are considered enhancements. So smaller things that I know add a lot of value to analysts and administrators. Under an analyst, we're adding the CCTI into the CSV export on the Ticket Center. So Ticket Center, we added CCTI as a column, but it wasn't added in the export feature, so that's being added and fixed. Additionally, when we moved from NSP6 a long time ago to CSM, we didn't expose all the different attributes that exist in the contact profile directly from a ticket when you access the user's contact profile from a ticket. So we're exposing additional attributes, specific ones that have been asked for by customers and on the community as well, adding some phone attributes, adding some additional details or special notes. So those would be adding as well, added to being added to the ticket on the profile on the ticket, so being able to use those from an analyst perspective. The next one on the analyst is, I know, something that customers have been asking for quite a while, is on multi-select across multiple pages in the filter. So if you're familiar with this specific issue, if you're using a search, and oftentimes in the overlays, and you have a multi-page list and you can select items from the list, if you select items from page 1 and then go to page 2 and select a few more items and then hit save, you're only getting the items that are on the specific page that you're on. This is just an older version of the widget we're using. We updated that and fixed this issue, and we'll roll that out with Elephant. That was something I know is important to a lot of customers. Next, on the administrator side, the ability to modify a username after the initial save. So if you've been with CSM for a while, you remember you controlled the usernames at sort of this admin level that was separate from CSM as part of this platform user management component that we're using, and you weren't allowed to modify usernames in CSM. So we've now addressed that. Now you do have the ability to, well, you will have the ability to modify usernames after save, and it'll do a check to make sure there's no duplicates in the system as well. And lastly, this is a useful one for web services integrations. As we've modernized many of the admin forms, we didn't expose the ID field on those forms, and so we're adding that ID field and exposing that in because it's very useful for web services integrations, being able to access those using the ID as well. So these are smaller enhancements that I know go a long way for customers that are running into these issues today. So I did want to mention these and call them out. Okay. I'll pause for questions real quick as we're passing over to Prasanna that's going to walk through and give a demo of some of these items. Not all of these are complete yet in the sprints that we've completed, so he's not going to show everything, but he'll give a good sense of what's completed and working today. Any questions on the phone, and you can hit #6 or #6 to unmute yourself on the phone. Okay. Prasanna, I passed it over to you, and I'll address a couple of these questions that are coming in.
Yeah. Let me take the control.
And did you get control, Prasanna?
Yeah, I'm taking the control.
Okay. Okay. And so there's one question that came in about, where'd it go? Oh, it just disappeared. Okay, I'll look at that. Well, go ahead, Prasanna. We can see your screen.
Okay. So first thing, what we already rolled out, the templates one, which I just want to demonstrate. How do we create the report using the template with the date stamp? So here's just the example, logged in as the administrator and then logged into the report, advanced reporting section. So there I've created a couple of ad hoc views. So we can just go and edit that ad hoc view. It opens up the ad hoc view. It's taking time because I'm connected through home.
And while you're doing that, I'll address one question that came up. I think it was related to one of my last points on displaying contact profile attributes on the ticket itself. So the question that came in, is the user's attribute list fixed, or can the admin select which fields to show? At this point, it is fixed. We're just enabling more and more of those attributes to be shown directly in the ticket. There's a few different options now in Dragonfly. You can enable analysts to go and see the full profile of the user, so you can do that. And then on the ticket with Elephant, we'll just expose more and more of the attributes that have been specifically requested by customers, including phone, special notes, and organization, department details, stuff like that will be exposed.
Looks like I'm having some problems with the connection to the DevOps environment. So you can skip the, or you can show the template one. So I can.
Yeah, if you want to just skip ahead, that's fine. So I'll just keep answering. A few more questions are coming in. And there were a couple of questions related to sort of pricing and sales. That certainly isn't the call for that. We're focused purely on the next release, the Elephant release, and functionality for CSM, and other questions more related to functionality in the community on CSM.
Connecting, give me a more minute.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, Prasanna, let me just jump ahead. I'll cover a few things on that, or sort of beyond the demonstration. So I'll talk about the roadmap while Prasanna gets his machine going there. But I did want to share the roadmap. So the existing column is what's available in Dragonfly, the new features that came out in Dragonfly. The planned column is what we're doing for the Elephant release, as well as targeting for the next release. So here's what we're planning today. And under consideration is things that are important from the community that are beyond those next 2 releases, is what we're planning at this point. Certainly, again, as that disclaimer slide showed, this may change. So additionally, I think the items we covered here, talking about the improved search, analyst productivity enhancements, direct human readable URLs, this is direct URLs. Some of the other areas that we're targeting, I think, sort of near term after Elephant, there's a lot of ideas on the community around better management of attachments and sort of the attachment experience. So how end users and analysts actually attach files to tickets or the system, as well as how you manage getting notified on those attachments, dragging attachments rather than going and, browsing for attachments. So I think there's a lot of things there that are on the community, probably, gosh, 3 or 4 specific attachment items in the top 50 on the community, and I think one that's probably, I think, 3 or 4 at this point. So we'll be focusing there, coming soon. Additionally, there's a couple items on the community related to better updating users of changes on tickets, and specifically sort of auto-refreshing the ticket center for analysts. So we want to do better than just an auto-refresh. We want to do more push notifications or push updates to that. So as new tickets come in or updates come in, they immediately go to that user's queue rather than waiting for, a refresh interval of 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So to make that a much better experience and a much more modern experience as well. Additionally, as we started in the Dragonfly release on database archival, we put in some enhancements to enable data archiving. We haven't turned those on yet, but we will start doing, after Elephant, more quarterly archivals of very old information in the system, so data that's older than 2 years, specifically around login history first, because that's a massive table, and you think about us storing every single login that you've ever had. It really just doesn't make sense. So archiving that, as well as eventually archiving and purging and providing to you ticket data that's older than 2 years as well. So those are things that are coming beyond Elephant that we'll have more work to do on and discuss. So additionally, further out on the under consideration category, a couple of the big things we're working on is ability to export and import workflows from one environment to another. That's a big one on the community, is sort of being able to create your workflow, export it from staging, and move it to production rather than having to manually create that. Makes your UAT much easier and makes that whole process easier as well. Also doing some things around a research utility. I'll talk more about that later. I think we've found that analysts do a lot of researching on the web and how to better enable getting that information back into the tool. Also some improvements on advanced reporting. I think better data sets around knowledge articles and SLAs and ticket activities. There's lots of conversations on the community about those that we can do better. Continue to work on operational improvements on performance and moving closer and closer to shorter windows when we do maintenance. And then automation workflows, data extracts, I think improving that a bit. And in-application notification. So when tickets are updated, when different things happen in the system, and notifying those analysts rather than notifying them on email. And looking at integrations with social tools like FlowDoc, which CA owns if you're familiar with that, or Slack, which is obviously a very good industry tool out there as well. Okay, so that's what I want to cover on the roadmap. Prasanna, are you ready if I pass it back to you?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah,
okay.
Share.
All right, I'll pass it back to you. A couple more questions are coming in that I'll address.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen now, Rich?
Yes. Yes, I can see it.
Yeah. So I'm going to open the Edit Adapt view. So this is the sample report which we have created without any date or anything. So I just want to add the templated date information to this type of report. So I'm just going to use the custom report template which are there and browse the templates which are available. Now you could see here A4 landscape was the one which was created earlier. Now with the date is what you could see. Like that, for all the 5 different types of templates, we have added the date functionality. Just for testing, I would just put actual size with date template and then save this report. Let me probably give a separate name to that. So it would go and create a report and go back to the report section here and then see the report. I just created the adapt view report. So if I view this or we can schedule this, it would go and have the information of the date when it got executed. So to see down, probably not this report. Report generated at 9 p.m. That is the IST time, which I am logged in as an IST user. So it depends on the logged in user, and when he is trying to read the report or see the report, it would show that time for that user. The same template is used for, I can use it for multiple reports for that. Now this part is done. Only I would like to demonstrate the URL part of it. So direct URL. So before that, probably I would like to show the various, for example, catalog configuration. So where do we get the ID? Because most of the direct URL requires the ID of the system, ID of the catalog item. So what we have done here is like in the grid view, so we have added an ID column, which was not there in the earlier one, to show these IDs to help you better. For example, like 32 is the application access control. Need access to an application is the template, which I would like to see from there. So it would be same as this URL. Let me show it in the new URL. And then catalog -13 or the one which was there. So 32, let me go to the 32 one. So if you are a single sign-on user, directly it would not prompt, it will automatically log in, and then it would show up the specific catalog, which was application access control. So if I'm not logged in, probably I will just simulate using the incognito tab. So I would use the same thing, catalog 32. So it would ask me for the login credential. Admin one. So if I put in my credentials, it will log in and then open up that particular request catalog item. So same thing similarly would be used for ticket, configuration item, and for ticket and configuration item, it's like pretty straightforward. I think the ticket ID would be visible directly, like 200-15, in case if I want to log into 200-15. Just ticket and 200-15. It would open up me that particular ticket. This would be real helpful in case if you are sending an email or sending someone telling him to log into this and then see the ticket or update this particular ticket. So this would be a good, real useful stuff. And a couple of other features which we have added, I think in Clover release, Dragonfly release, so we added one feature for the CCTI to filter and then add the categorization to the filter as well as it in the grid. So, but only thing which we probably missed out is, like, for example, in case if I do an export to CSV or a PDF, I'm just not getting this categorization column. So we added that and then make it available. In case if you go to categorization, you would see the categories shown up in the output CSV or the PDF file. And then so what are the things we have done as small enhancements was on the ability to modify the username. For example, most of us would have the column once the users are created. So it would not be possible for us to modify the username. So I'd like fix that this is a read-only field. So it might be required for that, or it might be this one. So what we have done is with the configuration parameter, so using that we can enable the user or the administrator can go and modify the username accordingly. For example, I'm just looking for a user. Allow editing user login. Currently, it is set to no. That is the default setting which we would be pushing in the Elephant release. So I can go and make the changes to parameter to yes and apply changes. So I would now have the ability to go and modify the username for the user. So I just need to log out and log in to get that functionality. Just log in. Any changes done to the configuration parameter would require to re-log in, because we do capture some of the information in cache to so let me go to the change 8. So now I can go and modify this particular user and then save them. So apart from that, other small things which we have also done in the mainly to help the integration is in the categorization. So which would, in the case if you are updating or doing something, category ID was not visible. So I think we made it visible in the details page, where ID of each of the category which you see here are available. Same thing for the groups, which is again when we did this a new layout, so we didn't have that option to view the ID. So now with the new this one layout also, we added this ID field to be made it visible for the users, administrators mainly. That's the most of the updates which I have done. I think the couple of them, the Jasper 6.2 and then those features are still in works. So we're not yet implemented that in the current test environment or the dev environment. So any questions on this?
So I think we addressed all the questions that have come in so far on the WebEx Q&A, but feel free, anyone, to ask additional questions. Also, if anyone on the phone wants to ask a question, it's #6 or #6 to unmute your line, and then you can ask a question. Okay. While we're waiting for any questions to come in, I'll jump through on a few. One summary slide here. So a few things I want to lastly make everyone aware of is maintenance. We will have some more maintenance in April, likely a hot fix for a couple of issues that have come in recently on Dragonfly, as well as some database maintenance. The Dragonfly hot fix should have very, very minor, if any, outage at all. The database maintenance, we will be doing back-end database maintenance. This may have a small window, a half hour, an hour, depending on the size of your database. So those announcements will be made. We're still working to schedule all those things in April. So some customers may not have any impact in April, and some may have a little bit of impact as well. As far as the Elephant rollout, so I wanted to give more guidance well in advance now on when we're targeting Elephant. These dates are all target dates. They're not final dates by any means. But I think the nice thing about this quarterly release cadence that we've done essentially since Bamboo, MR1, and Clover, and Dragonfly is we're getting much more consistent on these. So the staging upgrades, we do North America first, and then the EMEA, the Munich data center, and then the Australia data centers. So we'll target those the week of May 9th for North America, and the following week, so the week of May 16th for Europe and Australia. That puts the production upgrades, again, we try to do about 10 business days, at May 21st for North America and May 28th for Europe and Australia. These are all target dates again, but I think it's good to give everyone a heads up as far in advance as possible. And then the final dates will always be posted on the community as well as sent out via the notification system. And again, this puts us from the quarterly release cadence. The next release after Elephant in May will be Firefly, which is targeted for August 2016. So keep these same date ranges in mind, about the 9th to the 20th for staging, and about the 21st to 28th for production. Obviously, we do things on Saturdays, so that may switch, but those are good targets to sort of keep in mind in your planning from your IT environment. And then lastly, I think everybody on the phone here, from seeing all the names, are fairly active in the community. If you're not, I encourage you to get active. There's a lot of great stuff out there, from documents on advanced reporting from Daniel Sasajima, as well as all of our maintenance. There's icons for the service catalog that they're very useful. The maintenance notifications are status pages, and lots of discussions and ideas as well. So I certainly encourage everyone to always check into the community frequently to see what's going on there. Any other questions on the phone? I don't see any new questions coming in on the web, but again, it's #6 or #6 on your phone to unmute yourself if you have a phone question. Okay. I'm just looking through. I think there's 1 or 2 questions. You know what? Let me jump back, because there's one question about getting these maintenance notifications. So, I'll just put an arrow here. Feel free to email me if you're not getting these maintenance notifications today, and I'll make sure you're added to the list. Please do let me know what data center you're out of, because you're sent specific notifications based on the data center. So, let me know if you're in North America, which is SM1, or Europe, SM2, or Australia, which is SM3. And we'll make sure. Okay. Any other audio questions or anything else on the web? I will hang around for a couple minutes on the web if anything else comes up. Prasanna, any last words from you?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and end the recording and the audio portion of the call. I'll hang around with Prasanna a few more minutes to see if there's any questions that come in. But thank you all for attending, and I hope this was useful to you, and look forward to talking to you on the community. Thank you.
Thank you.